Everyone is playing tanks wrong. I'm not talking about skill or when to push up, even though I need to. I'm talking about which tanks go with which, and there's multiple combos that can happen. But if I do that, we will be sitting here for hours, and I'm pretty sure y'all don't want that. In this video, I'll be breaking down which tanks go best and which ones don't really fit well together. Let's break it down. So obviously, we always have to talk about the subdivisions of these characters. Tanks aren't really complex like the supports, but they do hold a major factor in these matches. Some games you can only run one tank and be completely fine, but mainly you will see two, and that's why I say there's not as complex, because as supports there's no way you can run only one support. So tanks have a lot more flexibility, and the same with DPS. So there are only 3 subdivisions of the tanks, and there are frontline tanks, dive tanks, and then I made a special one. But make sure you watch to the end of the video to see what characters I put in the special category. Starting off with the frontline tanks, I feel like everyone knows who these characters are. They're your front wall for all attacks. They absorb the most amount of damage. They're always going to be up front when it comes to your team moving forward. They need to be able to peel for your team as well, because if your team goes down, you go down too. These characters allows you guys to push up, and if they don't do their job, everyone else eventually starts to stagger. These frontline tanks are Doctor Strange, Groot, Penny, and of course Magneto. You run these characters if your team is getting dove hard and need help, and against people that can't do enough damage fast. So characters who does a ton of damage when you guys are grouped up are like Squirrel Girl, Moon Knight, Human Torch, characters that will make you pay for being that close to each other. But other than that, these frontline tanks are normally everyone's go-to when it comes to tanking. The secondary category is dive tanks. These are characters that get in and out, but unlike the DPS dive tanks, these heroes can stay in the back line a lot longer and really need to be focused on when they're in your backline. These characters are Captain America, Venom, and the Hulk. If you guys play a dive tank, you know how long they can stay in your backline and how dangerous they can be. You do not want to keep these guys alive and need to handle them quickly as possible. But these characters allow your frontline and other teammates able to push up because there's constant pressure on their healing, forcing their team to turn around and deal with the issue. If an enemy team is grouped up a lot, a dive tank loses a lot of its value, so make sure they have a few stragglers on their team to get the most effect out of this. Stragglers as in poke characters like Hela, Squirrel Girl, Black Widow, these characters that like to hit from afar and can't do much close range. And okay, for the last and special subdivision, I like to call these characters the skirmishers, and here's why. These tanks can dive, but they can't do it effectively as the real dive tanks, and they're definitely not a frontline tank either. Skirmishers thrive in small fights and quick trades. They're in and out, annoying, and opportunistic. These characters like Emma Frost, The Thing, and Thor, they do great damage and can really be annoying, but it seems like they have to be tied with the frontline tank to be very effective. Don't get me wrong, they can do it alone, but it will be a lot easier if they have a frontline tank that can go in with them. Skirmishers do their best when they're playing off of a real frontline tank. See, a true frontliner draws all the attention, so the skirmishers can get in, cause chaos, and get out without being the center of focus. When they go in with the tank, the pressure is split and they become way harder to deal with, but if they try to go in first solo, they're usually the ones that's getting deleted. So while they have the tools to survive on their own, they thrive when they got backup. Let the front line absorb the hits, and the skirmishers will pick off anyone who slips. So boom, that's the rundown. Everyone wants to play tank, but nobody want to play it right. And it's not just about jumping in and soaking damage, it's about pairing smart. Frontliners need support, dive tanks need targets, and skirmishers, they need someone to break down the door with them. You get the wrong combo out there, and your whole team's gonna be wondering why y'all keep getting wiped. But if you match them right, that's how you dominate the lobbies. If this video helped you see the tanks in a new way, drop a like, hit the sub, and let me know in the comments what your favorite tank combo is. We're just getting started breaking this game down. If you want me to deep dive into the tanks and say specifically who is good with who, comment that down below and I'll help y'all in the next one. So if y'all want more, you know what to do. Peace, y'all.
Yeah, I woke up running, gotta check my greens. Can't stop, baby, I'm a fiend. You look at his life, it ain't what it seems. I'm running the pack, to the pack, to the pack, to the pack, to baby,